Hello there, and welcome back to Writing from Scratch with me, Tom. On this episode, we're going to be talking about locations and how to choose the perfect setting for your book. One of the biggest decisions you'll need to make early on is where to set your novel. The location that you choose can have quite large impacts on the scale and the type of novel that you want to write. So let's look at a few different ways that we can choose the perfect place for your novel. The simplest choice is to choose a place that is familiar to you, like your hometown. A lot of writers feel apprehensive about choosing a very familiar area, as if it sometimes cheapens their story. But in truth, lots of very successful authors have based their novels in places that they're very familiar with. Think about Agatha Christie, for example, one of the best-selling crime novelists of all time. Most of her novels are set in small, quaint English villages or in the Middle East, Northern Africa area. And in fact, this is where she spent much of her life, so it makes sense that she's drawing on those influences as well. Moreover, if you draw on a place that you know and a place that you're familiar with, you can exaggerate or shrink certain aspects of that at will. Think about Lovecraft's New England with all its monsters and things like that, or P.D. James's Children of Men, where she sets it in a dystopian Britain. So choosing a place that's familiar to you does give you a lot of flexibility and is a perfectly viable option for the location of your novel. One of the biggest benefits of using a place that you're familiar with is that a lot of the world building is already done for you. If we used my hometown, for example, I'm already familiar with the facilities, with the culture, with the subcultures, with the demographics, with the climate, so I don't need to spend any time planning that before I start writing. Moreover, using a place that you're familiar with does not limit you to any one genre. Even in my hometown, despite it being a small area, I could still have romance, I can have crime, I could change the time for it to be historical fiction, I can have an alien invasion. Really, the location that you choose only restricts the scale of the story which you're trying to tell. It doesn't restrict the content or the message that can be told. Of course, you can also simply create new locations for your story. That's very fun and very creative. And the degree to which you can do this can vary wildly. You can go from something small scale, like Harry Potter, where you're taking the real world at large and simply inserting a few extra locations in, like Hogwarts or the Ministry of Magic. This way, a lot of the world building is already done for you, and all you have to do is introduce your own unique elements and see how they interact with the real world. On the other hand, you have very extreme examples like Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time or Dan Simmons' Hyperion Cantos, where you are creating entirely new worlds and universes. Now, this can be really, really liberating, and you have complete control over how the world behaves, but of course remember that you are slightly restricted in that you have to stay consistent within the rules of your own world, and you have to put a considerable amount of time into world building as well. Ultimately, the choice is yours, as are most things with your novel. For me, I'm deciding to build my own world, but I'm going to be drawing heavily on influences from the area around me and from places that I've been to, lived in, and visited before as well. So don't be afraid to mix and match and do bits of both. Again, experiment, find what you feel most comfortable with, and choose what's best for you and for your novel. So that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for joining me on Writing from Scratch. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing the video with your friends, and I hope to see you all next time. Thank you very much.